Yes, hello folks, it is me, Miss Crystal, and you have found me on Miss Crystal Chats. Now, if you've been keeping up to date, we have been doing a little bit of a getting to know you with myself, and last week we chatted all about kind of my school days, shared some very embarrassing stories involving alcohol, and just a few more embarrassing stories about the pop band Eclipse that I used to be in. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. I'm going to bypass the whole Glasgow years, not because I don't want to talk to you about them, but there's plenty of time for those to evolve later. But what I really wanted to talk to you all about and share some lovely little memories of mine is from my Butlins days. Now, I could go into so much detail because I was there for about 10 years. I started in 2005. And I started as a redcoat in Minehead, and I met so many wonderful people in my first year. And with the holiday camp, if anyone has ever worked in them before, I think they always say that the first year is always your best, and this is no exception. I absolutely loved my first year. I was young, free and single. I had just got the job. I was working at Spanish tapas bar in Glasgow, of all places, and I fancied going for the audition. And my audition wasn't in Glasgow or Edinburgh. No, I went to Bristol for my audition. This is where I had to go. And I went down and I was with loads of other people, got the train down. It was kind of like my first, I guess, big thing that I'd ever done by myself. So I went down, went to this audition. I was interviewed by a guy called Johnny Palmer, who was in charge of wardrobe and things at the time. And it was such a weird process because it was a full day event, and then you just had an interview, you had to speak a bit about yourself, and then you were basically said, right, okay, we might be in touch. So then went back up to Scotland, and then a few days later they said, oh, we'd love you to come down for a 2-day training course. And I thought, oh, that sounds fun. So we went down, we stayed in the Butlins chalets, not the sheds. These were the Butlins chalets that the guests stayed in. And I stayed with a guy called Scott Dudley Jones. He was my first ever roommate for the training. And over this training, we were taught a little bit of compare. We were taught a little bit of party dances. We were taught character work. And it was all spanned over 2 days. We were given a lovely little welcome pack. And then on the last day, you kind of went in, you had a final interview, and then you were sent on your way. You did not find out if you got the job even then. And weeks must have gone by, probably as they were like phoning people up and then saying, oh no, we can't do it, or go down the list. No, I'm joking. And I finally got the call. I didn't actually get the call. I think my dad got me the call, and he said, oh, someone's been trying to contact you from Butlins. You need to get in touch. So anyway, I phoned through and I got the job. Now, I honestly, there are so many different memories of when I was working as a redcoat at Butlins in Minehead. When I eventually got told that I got the job, I found out that my chalet mate on the training days actually got the job as well, and we were going to be sharing accommodation when we were down there, so that was absolutely great. We did turn up and we were in the sheds. Now, anybody that has ever worked for Butlins, is working for Butlins, knows that the chalets, the old guest chalets, were transformed into staff accommodation. And I mean, to be fair, the ones in Minehead are probably the best, or they were many, many moons ago, because you had your own kitchen, you had your own room, you didn't have to share, and we called them sheds. Everybody knows the Butlins chalet is a shed. That's how we call it. It's always been called that. And I don't even know where to start for the memories. The clear one in my head, and if anyone from those days do listen to my podcasts, will know, if I was to say the words shed wars. Now, Myself and Scott used to live opposite two lovely ladies called Holly and Lucy, and we got on like an absolute house on fire. Yet one day we decided we were going to play a few tricks on each other like we normally did. So it started quite mild, and we would put like ketchup on their door handle. So then they put mayonnaise on our door handle. Then it slightly escalated, and there were lots of bodily fluids that were involved. I'll let you use your imagination. We were putting bins up people's walls, shampoo, shaving foam. But I've got to say, the boys did win the shed wars because, and thinking back, we probably shouldn't have done it, but hindsight, it's a great thing. We we tied the girl's door handle to the banister so they couldn't actually get out of their shed. They're not still in there now, I might just point out, just as a disclaimer. We did let them out in time for work, but it was just hilarious. And I don't really know if anyone knew about that because we didn't get in trouble or anything, because in those days you could actually have a laugh and nobody took things too seriously. So then in my second year as a redcoat, we had a fantastic competition called the Ultimate Star Performer. And this was just brought in my second year. It was the first time they'd ever done it, and they were looking for the ultimate performer out of all the redcoats. So I was really, really lucky. I managed to get into the final of that in London, and we all got put up in a hotel. We performed at Heaven, the old nightclub, not the new one. And it was just such a lovely evening. So there was myself, Lara, Lindsay, and Pete Burns, not the Pete Burns, a different Pete Burns. We were all representing Minehead in the Ultimate Star Performer. The song that I chose to sing was Amazed by Lone Star. It is one that has followed me around for quite some time, and I still love singing it even to this day. So we all travelled down to London the day before the competition, and we decided we were going to go out and watch a show, catch a bit of dinner. We went out to watch Wicked, which was unbelievable. And Pete and Lara decided that they would go home, catch an early night, which in hindsight is probably what myself and Lindsay should have done as well. But we decided we were going to go out and have a few drinks, as you do when you're in London. And we met up with her sister, and we got absolutely hammered. I think we rolled into the hotel at about 5 o'clock in the morning. We had to get up ridiculously early because we had to be in the venue so that we could do our tech run. And I remember there was loads of people from Skegness, there was loads of people from Bognor Regis, and there was us representing Minehead. And because we were so hungover, we decided that we were going to take ourselves to one side and not really speak to anyone because we were that hungover. But we kind of got this reputation that we were divas and that we didn't want to sit with anyone and mix. It wasn't that. It was just we were so unbelievably hungover. Well, anyway, the moral of that story is Lindsay went on to win the competition and sang I Have Nothing by Whitney Houston unbelievably. I did not win. I just got drunk. But luckily, off the back of that competition, I was able to secure a role in the performance team at Butlins. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the characters that I played and everything, because there are some of you that will probably still go there, and I don't want to ruin that illusion for you. But what I will say is a few stories of when we used to go out at Butlins. So I have met lots of amazing friends that I'm still friends to this day with, through being at Butlins and being part of the performance team. Now, one of these friends in particular, called Amanda, I don't know why we're still friends, to be honest, because all we ever used to do is just absolutely hammered and get into lots of trouble. One of these events, shall we say, happened in Jumping Jacks. And if she's listening to this, she knows the story that I'm going to say because we got into, well, we didn't. I got into so much trouble. So I don't know why I thought it'd be a good idea, but at Butlins, we have this drink called Diesel. Now, it was half cider, half black currant. No, sorry. It was half cider, half lager, topped up with black currant. And let's just say it did the job if you were going to get hammered. Normally, I think it was about £2.60, and then when I left Butlins, eventually it was like £3, but £2.60 wasn't bad. So anyway, this one evening, we were having a bit of a drink, having a bit of a laugh in Jumping Jacks, and I don't know where the urge came, but I had a pint of diesel, a full pint of diesel, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to pour the whole pint over her head. Now, I know what you're thinking. No, it was probably just a dribble. No, no. It was a full pint of this blackcurrant lager cider stuff. And she was raging, as I'm sure you can imagine. The whole way home, she was yelling, shouting, and for some reason, I thought it'd be okay to yell and shout back. The next day, however, I was hauled into the manager's office and swiftly given a disciplinary. And we were allowed to take one person in with us. So I took Amanda because I thought it'd be funny. I bet you my manager's sitting there going, "Oh my God, what the hell are you doing?" But yeah, we thought it was a good time. And it is one of those times that we will laugh and laugh and laugh about forever. So some of my favourite on-stage moments come a little bit later, when we had the gorgeous Laura Brown, then she's now O'Connell. When she joined the gang, she just opened herself up to have ridiculed. Now, for those of you who know me, Laura is one of my absolute best friends. She's married to Jack, and she's got two gorgeous children. Now, we used to have this running joke that obviously I was Jack's true love, but Charlotte Potts, now Holland, Charlotte used to also say that she was having an affair with Jack, and it was just funny because Laura used to get wound up by it. But what we also used to do is we like to carry on the jokes and the laughter on stage. So we used to do this one show, for example, that had a massive chest involved, not tits. I mean, like a box chest, and we filled it with pictures of Jack. Yeah, we did. And obviously, during this time, we weren't allowed to wear jewellery on stage. But this one time, Ms. Potts, then, now Mrs. Holland, wore Laura's engagement ring on stage. Her actual engagement ring that Jack had got her, she wore it on stage. Now, you may think that is terrible, but that isn't even the half of it. Because I like to take things to the extreme when we're playing practical jokes. So, you obviously have all your undergarments, fresh undergarments, that you will wear every show. Which means you leave your normal stuff in the dressing room. Unless you're Miss Crystal. Because what I did was I took Laura's real bra and attached the seashells that she was supposed to wear throughout. Someone was supposed to do a seashell thing, and I wore her actual bra on stage. That wasn't even the tip of the iceberg, because the girls normally did this gorgeous ribbon number, and the ribbons used to hang across the back of the chest, and you used to basically take the handle and then you'd throw it and this gorgeous stream of ribbon would follow you. So Charlotte, she grabbed her ribbon, threw it. Oh, it was gorgeous, the ribbon. Rachel grabbed her ribbon, she threw it. Oh, it was gorgeous. Laura grabbed her ribbon and she did the gesture, but what she hadn't realised was that I actually disconnected her ribbon from the hook. So as she's done this big elaborate movement, she's basically dancing with nothing but a stick. Now, this was close to one of my final shows, as I'm sure you can probably imagine. But This, I can't even believe I'm telling you all this. This was not a happy moment for Laura. She was raging. So it's amazing that I actually still class her as one of my closest friends, because I'm sure she tells this story at every opportunity. She's like that. Yeah, do you remember that time that you hid my ribbon? Guaranteed, if you ever see her, she will bring up that story. So I am literally trying to rack it through a few of these, because there is so many different things that I could say, from being drunk and passing out underneath Bognor Regis Pier. Yes, Bognor has a pier. There's a lovely little club on the end called Sheiks, to having a bottle of wine each when you visit the China Royale. If you're ever in Bognor, check out China Royale. We used to go in there, and no word of a lie, me and Amanda would sit down and they would bring us out a bottle of Liebfraumilch milk each. Also, quite a nice wine. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit to when I went into Skegness, still part of the performance team, and it was Laura Kate's birthday, and she decided that it was going to be drag queens and divas was her theme. So myself and Daryl Eaton, if you're listening to this, Daryl, you know where I'm going. We decided that we were going to go in drag and as a diva. So we went as the gorgeous Amy Winehouse. And in true Amy Winehouse style, we went to a club called LA Caf, and it's safe to say that, again, this is another drunken Miss Crystal story. You'll see a theme emerge through all of these stories that I'm saying. Generally, alcohol is involved somewhere. Well, you know what they say, no one ever started a fun story with, I was eating a salad once and... So anyway, picture this. I've never done drag before at this point, and I'm in a dodgy Smithy's Amy Winehouse wig, the random dress, and we've decided to draw all over ourselves in eyeliner just because, well, we're doing tattoos. So we wrote, I love LK's mum, and it was just a random time. And we'd gone into LA Caf, they just had this massive refurb, it looked lovely, and, well, I just threw up everywhere. I think I might have passed out at one point. I remember people slapping me, trying to get me to come around. And to be fair, I was in a lovely place. I was in my little happy place. I was sound asleep. Not much else was going on. I was just drinking and loving life. The next day, I didn't wake up until 6 o'clock in the evening, to which I thought, do you know what, sod this, I'm going back to bed. So Butlins wasn't all about the alcohol and getting drunk and making ridiculous fools of ourselves, because this is actually where I met the gorgeous CJ for the first ever time. He was working in bars in Bognor Regis. That's where he first started, and that's where we first met. Admittedly, we did meet on a night out, and it started off with a little bit of a nudge nudge wink wink one night bit of passion, but hey, look at us now, engaged, due to be married this year. I've known him for nearly 13-14 years, so just goes to show there are people that you meet that will make a massive impact in your life, and the people that I've mentioned are just a handful of people that I have met throughout my amazing journey with Butlins. I'm the biggest advocate of working at Butlins. I've always said that Butlins will give you the fundamentals that you need to succeed in life. They train you to do the comparing. They train you to do the party dancing, the singing. They train you to be a host. They train you in every aspect that you could possibly want to progress in, and I'm so thankful for my years at Butlins. I mean, where else would I have learned to stand on a globe and juggle? I wouldn't have done that working down the local chippy, I tell you. I'm so grateful, and I'm so thankful to every single person that has played a part in shaping the person that I am today. Without you, I would not be the person that I am. So a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, there are so many stories, as I've already said, so I might even have to just come back to this one later on. But thank you so much for listening to my podcast. This has been Miss Crystal, a very flash through the old Butlins years. I could talk and talk and talk for hours and hours and hours about this. But I am not going to do that. What I am going to do is I'm going to tell you what is coming up in next week's instalment of Miss Crystal Chats. Yes, so next week, Miss Crystal Chats all things drag. That's right, we're talking about how Miss Crystal was born, all about her history at MHT, and all the things that she's been doing since then, right up until the present day with her gorgeous squirrel friend, Miss Special K. Thank you so much for listening. If you want me to cover any topics specifically, just send me a little message. That's not a problem. And I will see you next week. Stay safe, stay fabulous, stay gorgeous. See you soon. Bye bye.